Good evening. Hope you guys can hear me okay. I'm coming on here. I want to kind of talk about some things that I'm kind of stewing on. And I hope you guys are stewing on as well. So I'll let you guys jump on. If you guys can hear this, please let me know. And so I want to kind of touch base about the post that I just put out and and kind of clarify some things. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna share my stream so you guys can hear this. Please let me know. Um, And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of break down the information. And hey, Tim, how you doing? And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down the information in a way that I hope it makes sense for everybody and it's easy to follow. Because I love numbers. Like when I see this stuff, because I read a lot of numbers. And so when I'm looking at the latest update, now obviously it's a day old, so it's a day behind. Like this is kind of where my mind is going. And so I want to just kind of touch base with you guys. And so I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second. All right. So I hope you guys can see that. I'm not seeing any comments yet. And so if you guys are commenting, so this is the information that I put in the group, right? And so I'm looking at the numbers, and what I love about this set of data is it tells a story. It tells a story that our opponents are apathetic. The stuff that they typically do when it comes to when they turn in their ballots, typically they're voting early, they're more motivated to get out to vote. And by, typically by this time, we could look at back in history, like last year where there are, or 2022 when measure 114 went into effect. We can look back and they typically outpace us. And so this is completely a different year for us. And so this is why I think it's our opportunity to kind of strike and make some moves. Okay. So I'm going to look at this information right here. Okay. So this is unofficial, right? It's a day behind. And so it says it generated 11-1 at 8:03. So it's almost 2 business days old. Okay. But if I look at the information, I'm going to see if I can zoom in. Okay, so perfect. So now everybody can see it, I think. Okay, there we go. So here's my numbers, right? So these are what I love looking at right now. And if I'm not going to get to comments right now just because I'm sharing a screen where you guys are at. So please bear with me because I just want to run through the numbers and look at it the way I'm looking at it. And so hopefully it can make sense to you. So let's look at an easy one, right? So let's look at the first one. So Baker County. So Baker County, there's 1,840 eligible Democrats. They're registered to vote in Baker County. Okay. As of yesterday, 11-1, there's 1,000 that have returned their ballots. Okay. So, they're just over 50%, right? We're looking at the eligible Republicans. That's almost 6,000, and they're definitely over 50% right there. Okay, so that's what I'm focusing on right now is I'm looking at counties, right, that have I want the ratios to be in our favor. That's where I'm going at with this thought process. Okay, so we have until 8 o'clock on Tuesday to get people to the ballot boxes to make sure their votes are cast. Okay. So I'm going to keep going down the line. So Baker, so we're looking at non-affiliated voters, that's, independents as well. That's another thing. So I'm a registered independent. Okay. I used to be libertarian, but I'm a registered independent. Okay. So I either fall in the non-affiliated box or the independent box. So there's a lot of us out there in the state of Oregon. Okay. So this is where I'm thinking that we can make the hay. Okay. So, so we're looking non-affiliated in Baker County. There's almost 4,400. Okay. Of that, there's about 1,100 that have returned their ballots. So that's about 25%. Okay. And so in this election cycle, what I'm seeing out of other parts of the country, that the non-affiliated and the independent are leaning Republican. Okay. So this is huge for us. This is why I'm kind of jacked up. Okay. I'm kind of excited about this because this is our time. We're in the bottom of the ninth. We're actually in the eighth inning right now. Okay. If we're going to use a sports analogy, but we are so close. Okay. Because if we look at Baker County, I'm just using this as an example. This is the first one I look at. You can see my cursor here is, so 25% of the non-affiliated, and then we're looking at the registered independents, over half of them have voted. Okay. So we could lump those, and there's a good chance that they would lean conservative in this election. Okay. So that's why I'm so excited. Okay. So let's go to Clackamas County. This one is one of the ones that I brought up earlier, as we need to make room, make hay in that county. Because they have 104,000 Democrats registered to vote, right? Only 34% of them have, or 34,000 of them have turned in their ballot. Okay. So, what that's telling me is that's about a third. Okay. That's about a third in Clackamas County. And that is a county that, with Washington County, Multnomah County, these are the counties that they group together, which cancel out everybody in the eastern part of the state. So if you guys are in Harney County, if you guys are in the east part of the state, you guys are seeing this. Your stock has gone up tremendously. Okay. So I'm gonna focus on Clackamas County right now. So as of right now, the registered Republicans, so 84,000. So 84,000 registered Republicans to their 104,000 Democrats, right? And as of right now, 27,000 Republicans have turned in their ballots. Okay. So that's almost a third, about a third, right? So we're about even there in Clackamas County. Okay. So this is why, this is our time to get our people to the ballot boxes. Okay. And we're looking at, non-affiliated voters. Okay. There are 107,000 non-affiliated voters in there. So they're people like me. They're independent leaning as well. Right. So non-affiliated, independent voters. Okay. So there's 107,000 registered voters in Clackamas County. Okay. Only 15,000 of them have returned their ballots so far. Okay. Let's skip over to the independent vote in Clackamas County. So there's 17,000 eligible voters and about 4,500. So we're at about almost a third or a fifth. No, excuse me, 2/5. So almost 40% there. This is just rough math for me. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay. But just get my gist. Okay. The gist of what I'm trying to say here is, if we have 4,500 plus the 15,000 non-affiliated, like if there's a percentage of those that go conservative, then we're in really good shape. And that's why it's really important we make sure that we get people to vote. Okay. Let's look at Columbia County. We have 11,000 registered Democrats, only 5,600 of them. So they're about 50% there. Okay. In Columbia County, there's almost 12,000, but there's 6,000 of Republicans, but there's 6,000 that have already returned their ballots. Okay. Same concept here. There's 15,000 non-affiliated, and then there's another 2,000 independents, right? So this is kind of what I'm thinking, and this is my thought. Deschutes County, this is a great example of how we can pull this off. Okay, Deschutes County, there's 50,000 registered Democrats, only 29,000 have returned their ballots. There's 45,000 Republicans, 26,000 have returned their ballots. But we look at the non-affiliated. Okay, so 56,000 non-affiliated, and then the 17,000 have already returned their ballots. Same with the independents. There's 10,000 there. So they're about 50% in Deschutes County. So these are where I'm thinking that if we can get people, Douglas County's the same way. If we can get all of our circles, right? So we should be posting right now. like the little screenshot that I put in there earlier that has, the red part that's circle at the bottom. Like if we can start sharing, I mean, if you need help creating an image, I can do that, no problem. But the whole goal is we flood the system at this point. Like we don't give up. We don't say that our vote doesn't matter. We don't think about the cheat. Okay, is we nullify the cheat by showing up. Okay, and I would imagine like this is high turnout. I've yet to see turnout this high in many years. And we can go down the list. And so, Jackson County is another one that we should be focusing on, right? So Jackson County, we have 43,000 Democrats. 23,000 have already turned in their ballots. I mean, this is unheard of. Typically, if they're going to vote, they're going to vote early, right? So this is our opportunity. There's 50,000 Republicans. 28,000 of them have turned in their ballots in Jackson County. Look at this, though. There's 58,000 non-affiliated, and then there's 8,000 or almost 9,000 independents. Okay, so these are the ones that, they don't have to like Trump. He's my dog in the fight. That's my argument in this. Okay, I'm not saying that he's the savior here, but we got to look at the alternative. The alternative is the status quo that we're living right now. Excuse me. I'm excited. Um, so I'm hoping this makes sense. Okay, this is just something. We're looking at Lane County. I think Walter was in Lane County. I'm in Lane County as well. And so this is something that we should be spearheading, right? Is 102,000 registered Democrats in Lane County. We have 52,000 of them have turned in that. So they're 50%, right? So, and same with the Republicans. We had 61,000 Republicans that showed up or that are registered, and then 31,000 have already turned in their ballot. Okay. So, but then let's look at the non-affiliated. So non-affiliated is 95,000. Okay. And then there's 22,000 that have already turned in their ballot. So, I mean, we're looking really, really good. Okay. And there's 14,000 independent voters in Lane County, which, half of them have already turned in their ballot. So, I mean, my only advice here is to stay calm. Um, be excited about what could happen if we all work together. Okay. And if we do our part, we make sure we show up and vote, So, there's counties that we're not going to ever probably get. And that's, actually, let's look at Multnomah County. This one's interesting. Multnomah County, we have 290,000 registered Democrats, 110,000 have already, so they're not even 30%. Okay. In Multnomah County, one of the biggest counties in the state, they're not even 30%. Okay. On the return balance on the Democrat side. And so on the Republican side, there's almost 60,000, they're about, a third returned up in Multnomah County. But let's look at the non-affiliated. There's 195,000 non-affiliated voters, with 34,000 have already returned their ballots. So like if you add, let's say we get a percentage of the non-affiliated, we get a percentage of, there's 21,000 independent, and we get a percentage of those. I mean, that's going to help boost everything around the state. And, so this is something, Union County, that's a great, and I saw Harney County too, which I brought up. We look at Harney County is, they're down 1,000 votes. So there's 1,000 conservatives in Harney County that haven't voted. Right. And so these are just things, Yamhill County is another one, so we have 20,000 Democrats, and so about half of them have returned their ballots, so this is just something for us to focus on. I think this is a really easy, attainable goal for us. And all it takes is us to talk to our friends, our families, our neighbors, and to make sure they turn in their ballot. We don't care if they vote. We just want them to vote. Obviously, we're hoping they go our way. But this is something that I don't remember ever seeing it like this. And so I just wanted to bring this up as an example in a video, because it'd make it easier for you guys to understand like what I was trying to get at here, and how you guys can use the information that I already put in the group and just screenshot it and kind of tweak it and crop it. And you can make it for your own Facebook in your own county, right? And the goal would be like tag your friends, like have you voted, share this. And I'm not trying to get credit for this. I just want this information. This is all public record here. This is all off the Secretary of State's office website. It's just something that I'm trying to get you guys to put it out for our people to see, and we can work together here. I think this might be the change, we get. And so, that's where I'm really, really hoping that we can, you know, um, yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm gonna quit sharing my screen so I can look at the comments if there's any comments. And so give me 1 second. I'm gonna stop my stop sharing. There we go. Give me 1 second to pull up my other screen here. All right. So how we doing? So now I can see you guys, and so does that all make sense? And am I coming through clearly when it comes to this stuff? And I hope I am. And so that's where I'm thinking that. Hey guys, hey Doug, and so this is where I think that we can, if we do it right. I think this is how we can make the change, and we could pull off something that nobody thought would be possible because they're too busy. I mean, and a lot of it I think is they're not enthused about the candidate, and I'm not enthused about their candidate either. And so what they've done is put us. Awesome, you got a deer, sweet, good for you, Dakota. And so that's awesome, good for you. So that's where typically we're the ones that are apathetic, but we've changed this election cycle, and we're getting out there, we're voting early. And so this is where, like, I have hope that we can get an attorney general that's worth a damn. We can get a secretary of state. We can prevent Tobias Reed from becoming the treasurer, which is going to use money to take away our gun rights. Okay, so that's why I'm so fired up about this election cycle, because this is our opportunity, and this is our opportunity to say your time at the helm is over. Okay, and if we can win here, we can build upon this for the next time. And 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 so this is our opportunity, and I'm hoping that this all makes sense, and this resonates you. I'll try to make it as easy as I can for you guys to just, all you got to do is screenshot that little red thing that I like, or I can make a little thing that you can just share on your own Facebook page that says, you know, I need you to vote, or I don't know. We can come up with something. Okay. My thing is I'm here to help you make sure that you can reach your people outside of the group. And if you can reach our people outside of the group, I think that, I'm cautiously optimistic here. Okay. There's still time, but we still have until Tuesday. It's Saturday night right now. And so we can just we just put the pedal to the wood and go. Maybe we can get this thing in our favor. So is there any questions? I know I was talking really, really fast, um but I think it's easier for me to um kind of talk about it in this way, as opposed to like putting up a graph and circling. And so I want to kind of talk through my thoughts and explain like what the numbers meant. And truly, I know there's a lot of people that are skeptical of our system, but the thing is they're not used to this level of turnout, I don't believe. And especially it's like a perfect storm. And the way I look at it as a perfect storm is their side is so far down that they're not used to us showing up early. So that's my hope, that we do everything that we need to do. Maybe we can get the change that we need. That's kind of my goal. And that's why I was bringing it up for you guys to kind of see what I saw. I've been trying to put up these. I had a guy reach out to me. He's like, "Hey, you know where the numbers are at?" And so I kind of looked at it. When I started looking at the numbers, like, holy crap, like we're knocking on the door. And so that's why I wanted to kind of get it to you guys. And so No, Joseph, we're talking about the general election here. Okay. So we are talking about, and I'm glad you're here. So what you're in Lane County. So we need to tell your friends to get out to vote. And what in the beginning of the video, I kind of broke down all of the information that I was seeing, and that way you could kind of see, what we need to do, and where we can kind of get the message out to people to say, hey, your vote is more important now than it's really been in many years. And if we had this turnout in 2022, we wouldn't have Measure 114. We would have blown them away, like at the ballot box, not physically, if you know what I mean. So don't censor me. So we would have had more people at the ballot box on in 2022 than they would have, and we would have won. We wouldn't have gone through $5 million in tax revenue, fighting something unconstitutional. We wouldn't have this albatross hanging over our necks. So that's, this is why, we just gotta make sure that we show up and vote. So I think I said all I needed to say. Is there anything you guys need from me? Is there any questions I can answer since I have you here? I hope this all makes sense. I mean, it's all, yeah, Jeff, I would agree, but let's not leave that up for chance. Okay. Let's make sure that we are not, nudging our people in Lane County, because we have a lot of votes that we need to make up. I'm in Lane County as well. And so we just, I talked to a guy today and he's like, oh, I'm going to wait till the last. I go, come on, man, just get it in there, and so I totally understand. And oh, absolutely, Jerry, 100%. This is the $1 million comment right here. We win if we show up. Okay, they are not used to us showing up. This is the best example I've ever had for any kind of, like, any interaction I've ever had with anybody on the other side, like an anti-gunner, right? So when I'm face to face with somebody and I'm talking to them, they want to take away my guns. I'm not going to give up my guns, right? But so I automatically win when I show up, because they have preconceived talking points, notions. They're a lot, you saw the video story the other day that, when I bring in something that, and that wasn't live, but my what I'm trying to get at is, if we can get them off script, this is how we win. And so, yeah, good for you, Andy. And so, that's what I'm saying here is they're not used to being in this position. I guarantee it. They are full on meltdown mode. Okay. We have Val Hoyle. She's running against Monica Despain. Okay. Val Hoyle is being investigated at the state level, also the federal level, for corruption. So if we can, get her unseated, that would be huge for Oregon, right? We can send somebody other than an establishment Democrat to Washington, D.C. That would be huge for us. And that's the whole point of this. Yeah, that is true. But I guess what I meant by that is they come to the conversation with talking points, and they already have it framed in their mind. And then when you get them out of those talking points, they don't know how to act, right? And that's kind of what we're talking about here. Okay. So they're used to having the same results every year because of us not being apathetic and not showing up. And so now when we show up, especially with, 2.5 days left, 3 days left, they don't know how to handle this situation, right? And so I feel that we're in a really, really good spot. I really do. And I feel that there's a lot of, as an independent minded as I am, I feel that we're going to pick up votes because of how bad their policies are, right? And so we need to kind of capitalize that and make sure that we're pushing people, to do their part to make sure that they vote. That was kind of my point. And I kind of did it. I did the weave. I get a kind of a long, wrong about way. But I guess the gist of what I'm saying is they're used to scripts. Like, everything's on a teleprompter. Everything is, a narrative. And when they don't know how to deal with something that's off off the record, so that's kind of where I'm at. So yeah, I could see that, Joseph. I could see that. Best bet would be you can go down to every county is going to have an election office. That's probably the most safe and secure. That's where I went, and it's downtown Eugene for Lane County. So I went there, I stood in line, and it's, they have video surveillance, it's pretty secure. So if you're concerned about that, I would possibly, go to a big area. Um, I mean, you can drop it in the mailbox. I mean, it's free. Just make sure you do it, that's the biggest thing, and make sure you do it soon, so everything's supposed to be postmarked by, I'll get the time for sure, because I don't want to mislead anybody. But that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm hoping this helps everybody, and hope you guys are fired up. I hope you guys are ready for a change. And I hope that we're all in this together, and so we're counting on one another, and so yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, I try I try not to fight. I don't want to fight with people. I want to be able to just get in, do what I need to do. Obviously, I'm going to stand on my principles and my convictions. And I know there's a lot of polarizing information out there. So, we just gotta, make sure that, we don't want fist fights. We don't want any of that. We don't want any kind of violence. We just want to make sure that the most, what I love, the most awesome quote that I heard from Trump, right? And I don't want to toot his horn too much, but my like his success is going to be the results, right? That's kind of where I see this as the victory would be a change, right? And that's going to be beneficial for all of us. And so, I feel that there's people that even that are not necessarily on our side that are like looking at what's happening around us and they're like, I don't agree with it. So yeah, Jerry. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good job. So yeah, we can do that as well. So I'm gonna get off here. Happy Saturday night. The Ducks won, which is cool. And we're just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get off here. And you guys have a good night. You guys have any questions, let me know. But let's make sure if we're in those counties, let's make sure we get out and vote. So thank you guys. Have a great night, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Thank you.